Hey everyone, I'm Ben.
And I'm Chad.
And we wanted to welcome you to the first ever online teacher training here at Cicero Christian Church.
Woohoo! Be excited, this is big time.
This actually is pretty cool. The idea is that you may not have a whole afternoon to devote to come and to hear our teacher training, but you may have 10 minutes or so to listen to us and maybe get some tidbits that will help you in the classroom and help you to be a more effective teacher. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to have 7 points of a highly effective teacher. And we'll go ahead and just get right started. The first one is that teachers pray for their students even outside the church. You know, quite often we'll go into the classroom and we'll take prayer requests and we'll probably pray for the students while we're there. But if we're honest, we probably don't do that quite as much as we'd like outside of the classroom. So we have a couple suggestions for you. One is that if you take the prayer requests home, make sure that you pray for those throughout the week. And then the second one is that if you don't have a roster, get a roster of your classroom and simply pray for those kids throughout the week. Make it intentional, make it personal if you can, and just pray. That's really important.
We can't overemphasize prayer enough. I mean, prayer, when you're prayed up, your teaching is going to be so much better. And obviously we want to see God move in our students' lives, and that has to begin and end with prayer. The second habit of a highly effective teacher is that they communicate with their students regularly, and that's both in, of course, the classroom and outside the classroom. That can be done through so many different means right now. I mean, with technology and all, if you're working with older students, some of them have cell phones where you can text and Facebook, as long as it's appropriate. Make sure you understand the boundaries there.
Sure.
But telephone calls and postcards, notes of encouragement, those things are huge. And also, you know, just presence of being at games and activities that students have. That communicates so much care and so much just compassion for the student that when they come to the classroom, they know that you're there and you're involved in their lives. Not just 1 hour a week or however long the class is, but you truly are involved in an active presence in their lives.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the next one that we have for you is that you should, as a teacher, take answers that the kids give seriously. So we ask questions as a teacher, and we should. In fact, that's one of the ones we'll get to later on. But when you ask a question and you receive an answer, we should take it seriously. Even if the student isn't necessarily being serious when they're giving the answer, we still kind of need to be able to take it somewhat seriously. In fact, a lot of times children of all ages, even teens, will use humor to maybe communicate something that is actually pretty serious. So as a teacher, we need to be able to filter that and to be able to respond accordingly when kids answer some questions that sometimes might be a little bit tougher.
Very good. The fourth habit of an effective teacher is that they show up at least 15 minutes early before class.
How long?
15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay.
Right. And that time, that just communicates the importance of what you're doing.
Sure.
That gives you prep time, prayer time, and importantly, when families come, especially with smaller students, smaller children, that they have a chance to drop their child off, know that they're in a safe environment, know that they're going to be watched out for,
right,
and get to worship or wherever they're going as the parent, that they have time to get there and not be rushed, and know that they have a chance to talk with the teacher beforehand too.
Sure. I mean, Chad and I, we would love to be able to individually greet every student, but we can't be everywhere at once. And so, especially if we're not there, it'd be great to be able to have the teachers there to be able to do that and have that welcoming environment for the students. So that would be fantastic. The next one is number 5, if you're following along, and that is that effective teachers join in enthusiastically.
Woo! Yeah!
There are a lot of times where you might have not had a lot of sleep the night before you teach a class or whatever, but being enthusiastic in the classroom is really important. We've all had teachers throughout our lifetimes that are just as dry as bones, and you know that it's difficult to learn in that kind of environment. So we would like for you to be able to pump up the volume, to be enthusiastic about what you're teaching, because when you're communicating the gospel, you kind of have to be excited. kids pick up really quickly whether or not you really want to be there, and they pick up really quickly whether or not you really believe in what you're saying. So if you're enthusiastic about what you're talking about, kids will be more receptive to what you have to hear, and you may actually find that the classroom overall will be easier to manage if you do that. So that includes worship or games or any kind of activities that you might have. Just be enthusiastic.
Right, and never forget what we're doing. That we're not just teaching stuff that helps them in life. We're teaching them, hopefully the truths of God and God's Word and what He wants to do with and through them. And when you realize, what we're really doing, how do you not get excited about it?
Yeah, life-changing stuff.
Yeah. So the sixth habit for highly effective teachers is that they learn their students' names. They know their children, that they have a relationship, they communicate regularly with them, that they can call them by name instead of just buddy or partner or pal, that they actually know their names. That carries so much weight with parents, especially if it's a regular attendee. And it seems so obvious, but it's still something that's rare where teachers make sure they take the initiative to learn names.
Sure. Yeah, and even in the children's area, I know that they have name tags that you might be able to see, but I mean, it's pretty obvious if you're looking down or over or whatever, or say, hey, could you turn around for a second so I can see your name? It does make a big difference, and it helps with that personal touch that they have and feel that they are connected with the church. That's a really important thing.
Right.
What's your name again?
Thanks, man.
Okay. All right, so the next one, the seventh one, the final one, is that effective teachers ask a lot of questions. They do.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when you ask questions, you should probably expect answers. A lot of times, sometimes we will try to make our lessons really simple or kind of spoon feed what we have to say to the students so that they might not have to do a whole lot of thinking for themselves. When you ask questions, you are able to get their minds going. We don't give credit enough to how a child's mind works, or even a teen's mind, for that matter.
Yeah, we wonder sometimes.
We do. But you know what? The important thing is that they actually have a lot of thought. They actually have a lot to say. So ask questions, and when you ask questions, don't ask closed-ended ones that are just yes or no type answers, or the God and Jesus answers that they always get in Sunday school.
Those are the only ones I can get right.
But instead, you should ask questions that get deeper. Ask why, ask how, and listen for their answers when they do that.
Yeah, cause them to really engage with what you're teaching and make them process through good questions like that. That's just a great teaching habit. And with that being said, I think that's our 7 habits of effective teaching. So just want to say thanks for taking the time to watch this, be a part of this training process. Hopefully it's helping you develop your skills and maybe revisit some areas where you're thinking, I could really grow here. We want to see you excel. We're excited that you're a part of our ministry. Absolutely. And let us know any way that we can help encourage you as you seek to make a difference in students and children's lives.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks again for taking the time to do this, and we'll probably want some feedback and to see how effective this is. We want you to be effective. We want to be effective as we're helping you guys out as well with our ministries here together at Cicero Christian Church. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Does the camera add 10 pounds? Right there.